Hey everybody, and welcome to another segment of AstrologyAnswers.com's weekly forecast. My name is Terence. The week begins on Monday, February the 10th, 2025. And on Monday, the moon is in Leo. I always start with the moon, as you always hear me say every week, because the moon represents the public tone, the public reactions. And on February the 10th, that Monday, the moon is in Leo. Leo is a fire sign. Leo is creative, it's romantic, it's dynamic, it's very playful energy. So it's a very upbeat energy to start off the week. And during the day, Mercury, decision-making, communicating, negotiating Mercury, will be squaring or in a hard angle of tension to unpredictable, disruptive Uranus. The positive side of Mercury to Uranus, and this may happen a hard angle like just 4 times a year, is where you suddenly, that's the Uranus energies, you're getting all these new perspectives, thinking out of the box, a lot of originality. But it also can stir up some real unexpected anxiousness, nervousness. On a more mundane level, this could be a day when you're hearing sudden, unexpected, that's Uranus news, that's Mercury, and you have to suddenly have to make all these kinds of decisions right away. So it can be a nerve-wracking day, especially when the moon in dynamic Leo is in opposition, that's interacting with others, compulsive, powerful Pluto. That will be happening early afternoon Pacific time. So that could be these emotional power struggles, and then communication Mercury is being stressed out by unpredictable Uranus. But things will calm down by late afternoon, 5-6 p.m. Pacific time, as the Leo moon will be in harmony with cooperative, benefic, social Venus. Good for romance, good for creativity, but with all this hyper energy, it's very good for calming down and cooperating. Tuesday, the moon is continuing in Leo, but the sun in Aquarius will be in a square to Uranus. So the sun, for everybody, is putting a real spotlight on the unpredictable with Uranus, a lot of disruptive, anxious energies. And that takes us into Wednesday, because the full moon, we have a full moon once a month. The full moon is a time of when emotions come to the surface, a time of culmination, contest relationships. But this full moon is in Leo. It's at 24 degrees of Leo, to be exact, because there's 30 degrees in each sign. But Uranus is at 23 degrees of Taurus. So the full moon in a square, a hard angle to Uranus, there could be these disruptive, explosive, rebellious energies that all comes to light. And it's actually starting on Tuesday. Now, the moon is going to go void, of course, at 11:13 a.m. Pacific time on Wednesday of the full moon, and remain void, of course, until 5:08 p.m. Pacific time. Void, of course, as I mention every week, the moon is going to be changing signs, but it's no longer making aspects to other signs, so the energy is flat, no activity, until the moon goes into the next sign and starts the whole new cycle, and that'll be at Virgo. The moon, the emotional public moon, will move into analytical, sensible, practical Virgo at 5:08 p.m. Pacific time. But during that void, of course, it's always advised to not introduce important new projects, because there's no energy to keep it moving forwards. Thursday, with the moon in analytical, sensible, practical Virgo, Virgo is also a work-oriented, service-oriented energy. So you may be wanting to be more help others. Virgo can have a lot to do, not just service, but also healthcare, helping those in need. That's the highest quality of Virgo. And that moon in Virgo, by mid-afternoon Pacific time, is going to form a square, this tension, to expansive Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is a benefic planet. It brings promises and optimism. But when a transiting planet is triggering Jupiter or vice versa, it could be too much of a good thing. In other words, inflated expectations with a downfall later if you were expecting unrealistically too much. It can be overindulgence. It could be spending too much money, drinking, eating too much. Now, that is only happening for a couple of hours mid-afternoon Pacific time. So it's just something to be aware of. If you find yourself starting to get all excited about all kinds of possibilities during this moon Jupiter, it's like temper it. Just chill out and see where all this is going before you make any irrational decisions. Friday, the moon continues in Virgo, but around 6, 7 a.m. Pacific time, the moon will be in opposition to restricted Saturn. Opposition is interacting with others. And so you might be feeling 6, 7, maybe 8 a.m., but Pacific time, trying to get your needs met, the moon is being restricted and blocked by Saturn. Moon Saturn can be, in the positive, a time of taking on major responsibilities, but it also may be triggering a lot of anxiety and worries. However, the moon in Virgo will be trining or in harmony with liberating Uranus. Now, when Uranus is being triggered in a more harsh way, it can be disruptive. But here the moon in sensible Virgo, service-oriented Virgo, is in the best flow of energy to Uranus mid-afternoon Pacific time. So that's a good period to be negotiating new business, coming up with new options, thinking out of the box. On a personal level, it's very favorable to letting go of old stuck habits, because the moon can have a lot to do with our emotional habits and patterns, and when it is connected positively with Uranus, we can be more we can let go more easily, see other kinds of positive options. Saturday, the moon goes into cooperative, social, relational Libra at 3:46 a.m. Pacific time and will remain for the weekend. The moon in Libra is very sociable. It's also very cooperative. Now, the moon in Libra will be in harmony, a trine to Pluto, intense, obsessive Pluto, mid-morning Pacific time. That can, when you're feeling like you can really express your emotions, the moon, in a more favorable way, but a more deep, profound way. You could have more profound interactions and conversations with those you are close to. So that's mid-morning Pacific time. By 6, 7 p.m. Pacific time, now that sociable Libra moon will be in opposition or being a bit of competition to sociable Venus. Venus is the planet that is associated with Libra. Now, these are two really benefic energies, the moon in Libra, which wants more harmony, cooperations, but it's in tension with Venus. And so what's going on here is you might not feel you're getting your needs met. You might have a lot of expectations for Saturday evening if you are celebrating, going to a party, going to an entertainment venue. That's all that creative Venus, sociable Venus energies. But there's tension here. So So there might be some disappointments. You might be expecting too much, and then it's not what you were expecting. On Sunday, the 16th, the moon is continuing in cooperative sociable Libra, but mid-afternoon Pacific time, it's going to be squaring this tension to impatient Mars. Now, the thing with the moon in Libra, or the sun in Libra, Libra is always trying to say yes, trying to be all things cooperative with everybody. So there's this emotional need, the moon in Libra, for harmony. Like everything is fine, everything is okay. But then when it hits a planet like Mars, which could trigger a lot of impatient arguments, irritability, the Libra thing, which is interesting, is I call it the pressure cooker of the zodiac. So if you have planets in Libra or a Libra rising, you could be so busy trying to be all things to all people and be the great mediator, but time to time you're saying yes too much, and then the pressure cooker lid just blows off. And then problem with Libra energy is they then try to put the lid on too quickly before they really release all of their frustrations. And that lid could be, flying off mid-afternoon Pacific time. But after an hour or two, you're going to want to have peace and put the lid back on. I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you next week with my next segment. Until then, be safe and well.